Good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your part of the world. This is King B News and Views with another video. So you see the title on the screen. Person in Colorado infected with the bubonic plague. Here's what to know. And this article was published by USA Today, released 20 hours ago. So let's get into this serious topic, see what they're talking about. A person in Pueblo County, Colorado, about 100 miles south of Denver, has been infected with bubonic plague, local health officials said Monday. Last week, state and local officials identified the case based on preliminary test results. Tristan Garcia, a spokesperson for the Pueblo Department of Public Health and Environment, said in an email Tuesday morning it was bubonic plague. Earlier announcements had been more general, stating it was plague. The infection was initially reported on Friday. The department said the person was hospitalized for bubonic plague, but their condition improved. Because plague is endemic locally, it's hard to pinpoint the source of infection, Garcia said. Bubonic plague, which wreaked havoc during historic pandemics across Europe and Asia, is caused by the Yersinia pestis bacterium. It is transmitted by fleas, often carried by rodents in the wild, including rats and prairie dogs. Plague occurs when infected fleas bite people or when humans touch or skin an infected animal. Most human cases in the U.S. have occurred in the Southwest, in northern New Mexico, northern Arizona, and southern Colorado, and the West in California, southern Oregon, and far western Nevada. The U.S. has an average of 7 human plague cases per year, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In March, a New Mexico man died from plague, state health officials announced. Oregon officials identified a human case of plague in February. The Oregon case likely stemmed from an infected pet cat. So what are the symptoms of bubonic plague? Symptoms can develop after an incubation period lasting between a day and a week, according to the World Health Organization. Plague typically causes sudden fever and chills, severe headache, muscle aches, nausea, and vomiting. A common symptom is swollen, painful lymph nodes called buboes, which gives the most common form of the disease its name, bubonic plague. These manifest in the body as swelling in the armpits, groin, and neck, the Mayo Clinic said. Buboes vary in size from less than half an inch to about 4 inches. Bubonic plague doesn't spread from person to person, the CDC said. Other forms of plague include pneumonic, which happens when the bacteria infects the lungs, and septicemic, when the bacteria infects the blood. Pneumonic plague can spread when someone breathes air droplets from an infected person. These droplets can remain in the air an hour after an infected person coughs. Pneumonic plague can also occur when the bacteria from untreated bubonic or septicemic plague spreads to the lungs. Septicemic plague doesn't spread from person to person. The WHO estimates that 30% to 60% of people die from bubonic plague. Pneumonic plague is fatal when left untreated. There is no vaccine for plague in the U.S., the CDC said. People who develop symptoms of plague should immediately see a health provider. Antibiotics can treat plague, but a person must be seen immediately to avoid serious illness or death, said Alicia Solis, a communicable disease and emergency preparedness program manager in the Pueblo County Public Health Department, in a statement. How can you avoid it? Wild rodents in the American West commonly carry plague. With that in mind, Pueblo County health officials warn people to clear areas where rodents can hide and breed near homes, garages, sheds, or recreational areas. People should not let pets hunt or roam in rodent areas, including prairie dog colonies, and they should treat dogs and cats for fleas regularly. Officials warn that flea collars have not been proven effective against plague-infested fleas. Officials also warn people to avoid letting their pets sleep with them. People should also avoid contact with dead animals. If you must handle sick or dead animals, use insect repellent with 20 to 30% DEET to protect against fleas, officials said. Use a long-handled shovel to pick up an animal and place it in an outdoor garbage bag. Black Death. Plague has been found in all continents except Oceania. But the most endemic countries are the Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, and Peru. Historically, the disease decimated global populations. In the 14th century, bubonic plague infamously brought the Black Death pandemic, which caused an estimated 50 million deaths, WHO said. More than a quarter of Europe's population died, although some estimates are higher. Outbreaks later occurred in China and India. Past U.S. outbreaks, misperceptions. The U.S. has not seen the same level of deaths from plague as other regions, although outbreaks have occurred over the decades. In 1900, plague was introduced on rat-infested ships that sailed from affected areas, causing endemics in port cities such as San Francisco, where racist public health policies wrongly blamed the Chinese community for bringing disease and being uniquely susceptible to it, as the journalist David K. Randall wrote in Black Death at the Golden Gate. In the mid-1920s, Los Angeles had the nation's largest urban epidemic with more than 30 deaths. In Southern California at the time, public health officials blamed the Mexican district just east of downtown. But plague-infested fleas on urban rat species were to blame, and they'd go on to infect rural rodent species in the West with plague to create a reservoir of infestation that continues to this day. That is the end of this article. Now, where is it? Where is it? And this right here is what it says. It says morphological characteristic of a flea depicted in the digitally colorized scanning electron microscopic image in 2017. Image courtesy Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So that's a flea. All right, that's a flea. All right. And in case anybody's wondering what is, when it mentioned Oceania, in case anybody wondering what is, or I click Oceania and it comes up cruises. Let's see, here we go. In case anybody wondering. So, Oceania is a geographical region including Australasia, Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia, outside of the English-speaking world. Oceania is generally considered a continent, while Australia is regarded as an island or a continental landmass contained inside of the larger continent of Oceania. Spanning the eastern and western hemispheres at the center of the water hemisphere, Oceania is estimated to have a land area of about 9 million square kilometers. All right, so let's see if I can make that bigger. All right, so So this is the map. You get in on that. This is Australia, and this is Micronesia and the other islands. So what it's saying, this whole map is considered Oceania continent, right? And you see it's small islands, and you see all this water, right? But just remember, at one time in history of the planet, it was one land mass called they call Pangea, right? So that was just real quick for anyone who was wondering what they mean Oceania. Let me go backwards. Oh, get out of that. Here we go. Okay, we back. All right. So if anybody's wondering, what's Oceania? In case anyone's never heard of that. All right. What else I wanted to? And also, let's see. This is bacteria, pneumonic plague experiment. Someone breathes air. So what else? When this part right here, where it says other forms of plague include pneumonic, which happens when the bacteria infects the lungs, and septicemic, when the bacteria infects the blood. Pneumonic plague can spread when someone breathes air droplets from an infected person. These droplets can remain in the air an hour after an infected person coughs. That right there is I find that's very interesting as well. Especially when you research and you look into how far, when a person sneezes, how far that sneeze travel. All right, how far it travels. When you look into that. Okay, and those droplets remain in the air for an hour. All right, that right there is very interesting. Right. Matter of fact, let me look that up. How far does a person sneeze? Let me try to look that up real quick. Okay, so University Health News. According to universityhealthnews.com, how far does a sneeze travel? It says data collected by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology research team not only tells us how far a sneeze can travel, but it answers this question: how fast does a sneeze travel? Amazingly, a sneeze can travel up to 100 miles per hour. Let's click on that because as John, hold on. How do I get out of this? I don't want to email. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. Where was I? 100 miles an hour. John Bush, MIT professor of applied mathematics, wrote, think of the cloud as being turbulent. That is to say, a very disordered, vigorous motion. If the characteristic speed in that cloud is larger than its settling speed, then it will be dominated more by that internal cloud motion than by its settling speed, meaning the smaller droplets go much further than the large drops. So in the company of a sneezer, we instinctively turn away from the splatter, or we may slip outside to breathe in some fresh air. And of course, we may be tempted to wash our hands, a good practice anyway, to avoid the spread of germs. But because it's difficult or near impossible to see the droplet-bearing gas clouds produced by a sneeze, there may not be much you can do other than to pray the droplets don't get into your eyes, nose, or mouth, and of course to offer a quick bless you or gesundheit. Now, it answered how fast, but how? Hold on. Website headline. Wait a minute. Smaller droplets. There are smaller and evaporating droplets that become trapped in a turbulent puff cloud. Dr. Buroba added that they remain suspended over the course of seconds to a few minutes. These smaller droplets can travel the dimensions of a room and land up to 19 to 26 feet away. So they're talking about a sneeze 19 to 26 feet away. When somebody sneezes without covering their mouth, 19 to 26 feet away they travel. The droplets travel 19 to 26 feet. Keep that in mind. 19 to 26. When somebody sneezes without covering their mouth, the smaller droplets can travel 19 to 26 feet away. Okay, 19 to 26 feet. So 19 to 26 feet, what was the purpose in 2020 of us having to stand 6 feet apart? If when somebody sneezes and the smaller droplets can travel 19 to 26 feet, what was the purpose? What was the real purpose of us in 2020 of us having to stand 6 feet apart? If when somebody sneezes, the smaller droplets can travel 19 to 26 feet. So why was we standing 6 feet apart? Why did we have to stand 6 feet apart? What was the real reason? Think about that. I just read it to you. You can see it. 19 to 26 feet away. Okay? All right? That's how far the smaller droplets can travel when somebody sneezes without covering their mouth. 19 to 26 feet away. Okay? That's the smaller droplets. But it says the largest droplets rapidly settle within about 3 to 6 feet away from the person. That's just the largest droplets. It says that right here. 3 to 6 feet away. That's the large droplets. It settles within 3 to 6 feet. But the smaller droplets in the sneeze travel 19 to 26 feet away. All right? So what was so us having 2020 having to stand 6 feet apart was nonsense, in other words. And I'm on the University Health News website. Okay? That took me a couple of minutes to look this up. It wasn't hard. You see that? Right? Once again, to recap, when somebody sneezes without covering their mouth, right? It says, upon publication of the first study's results, newspaper and website headline writers glommed onto the 200-foot sneeze angle. So there's a 200-foot sneeze angle. But it says, continue to say, but keep in mind that not all sneeze debris travels that far. The largest droplets rapidly settle within about 3 to 6 feet away from the person, according to Dr. Buruba wrote. Plus, there are smaller and evaporating droplets that become trapped in the turbulent puff cloud, Dr. Buruba added, and they remain suspended over the course of seconds to a few minutes. These smaller droplets can travel the dimensions of a room and land up to 19 to 26 feet away. Okay? All right? And here are some pictures that they got on there. It says these stop action images from MIT's sneeze study give you an idea of the force of a multi-phase turbulent buoyant cloud, the droplets carrying vehicle we expel during a sneeze. All right, so that right there, that's an actual person just sneezed. And this is the larger droplets that they're talking about. The larger droplets settle within 3 to 6 feet. But look how it expands, right? And you see here, the larger droplet is going to settle within a few seconds, within 3 to 6 feet. But the smaller droplets remain suspended in the air much longer, for a few minutes. And they travel 19 to 26 feet. All right. So just a little quick research while it's talking about, while it's talking about, coughing. I just had to look that up real quick and go back to 2020. Okay, but this is King B News and Views. This is something to think about. I'm going to leave it at that. Right? Because if I go any further, YouTube going to have something to say about it. But please do look this up for yourself. Go further. Do this research and look this up for yourself and go further along with it. All right? I don't really need to say no more than that. Okay? But this is something I just wanted to give you something to think about. But this is King B News and Views. Stay safe out there. Love yourself unconditionally. Keep your loved ones close. Plan, and when you think you planned enough, do some more planning. All right? Keep each other informed. Have meetings. Have schedule regular meetings. Get together. You can talk about what's going on. Share any new information that you may come across. Stay ready. Stay prepared. Whatever situation comes your way, you are prepared to deal with it. Protect the children and the babies and our women always. They're under attack, been under attack. Let's do a better job protecting our women, our children, our babies. All right? Stay safe out there. Shout out to all the natural born women out there. This is King B News and Views. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Click the notification bell to all so you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. Check out my previous videos. A lot of good information on this channel that you may find useful. This is King B News and Views. To the next video. Peace.